Good morning and welcome back. If I could, I would sit across from you, drinking a cup of tea and perhaps listen to some of your stories. I'd ask about when and where you grew up, when you first learned about God's love for you, and how He gradually drew you into His presence. I'd listen to the ways that He has sustained you through heartbreak, and I would celebrate with you His mighty victories. But I'm sure I'd also hear stories that go perhaps like this. I was born and raised in a Christian family. I said the sinner's prayer in primary school, and I've been trying to be a good Christian ever since. But God isn't interested in my life. Nothing exciting ever happens to me. Does that sound familiar? Ever heard someone say that? Have you ever thought that yourself? Join me today as we talk about Here Am I. You know, we all long to live lives of significance. We read of Mother Teresa, the story of Jim Elliot and his friends who were martyred in Ecuador, Amy Carmichael and her ministry to people in India, D.L. Moody and his evangelistic gift. And perhaps we secretly whisper, I wish I could change the world. But then we go back to the classroom, office politics, quarterly reports, and figure God's just not interested in little old me. But nothing could be further from the truth. I want you to check out these verses. Let's go to 2 Chronicles chapter 16, verse 9. And the Bible reads, For the eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the whole earth, to give strong support to those whose heart is blameless toward Him. You have done foolishly in this, for from now on you will have wars. Now, did you catch that? God is not looking for the best educated or the most qualified. No. He's looking for just one quality. You know what it is? Surrender. Think of the people that God used at critical junctures in Israel's history. He used Moses, who ran from Egypt as a criminal into the desert. But God used him to lead captive Israelites out of Egypt and to teach them His laws. Hannah was a wife who struggled with infertility, but God heard her prayer and entrusted her to raise Israel's last great judge. Samuel, that very child. Samuel was a servant boy who was despised by the priest's own sons, but God used him to guide the nation into turbulent time of kingship. Then we have Isaiah. Isaiah was a man terrorized by the Assyrians, but God used him to proclaim His salvation through the coming Messiah. And then we have Mary. She was a teenage girl in a small town, and yet God used her to bring His Son into the world and raise Him as her own. What do these 5 history makers have in common? Well, other than the fact that they were seriously underqualified for the job in mankind's estimation, they all said these 3 little words: Here I am. Here I am. You see, God doesn't need your degrees or your qualifications. He isn't impressed with your daily devotions, your Bible studies, or commentary projects, or community service projects. God is actually looking for men and women who are so enraptured by His love and His grace that they surrender their lives to Him and say, "Here I am. All I have is yours. Do with me whatever you want." Frightening, isn't it? And yet so very exciting. Let's turn for a moment to Philippians 2, verse 13. Philippians chapter 2, verse 13. And the Bible reads, "For it is God who works in you, both to will and to work for His good pleasure." If you feel that your testimony isn't that impressive, I invite you to make these 3 little words your daily prayer. Here I am. And then I want you to watch God as He takes your life and He transforms it into a world-changing, history-shifting, eternity-pointing narrative, so that everyone who hears it says, "Whoa, look what God did there. I want Him to do that in my life too." Because He can. He can. And He will. Invite God to be part of your ministry, to be the center focus of your ministry, and let Him know you're available. Surrender. Here I am. God bless, and I look forward to learning with you next time.